Okay, so today we're going to be drawing this mug that is ceramic, and of course it reflects light. So I'm going to start by drawing a geometric shape that is kind of the shape of the mug. It's not really a square, but I'm just using straight lines. And then I'm going in and rounding it off. So first you want to shape what it looks like before adding the roundness or any of the details. So once I have the basic shape figured out, I'm going in and carefully shading in or drawing the details that makes this mug unique. So the lines that I did for the outline of it was pretty accurate to the shape that it actually is. And you have to look at the reference image as you make it. So this mug is not completely squared. It's not completely round. If you're not looking at the reference image, you're not doing this correct. So realistic drawing is all about looking at the subject of your drawing. So I'm rounding off the handle. And then I'm looking to see where the handles attach. And again, this is where your reference comes in. So you can't just put a random handle. And just because this is a simple mug doesn't mean there are no details. So when you start drawing, the details are in it's in the details. So when you're shading or when you're drawing, you have to look at every single detail to make it as realistic as possible. And you might have to go back and correct it. The only reason why I am able to get it right almost the first time is because I have practiced and I know what to look for. But obviously, if you are just beginning, you're not going to know what to look for. And I'm kind of penciling in the darkest areas first that I see that are the shadows. And nothing is set, so I'm not really shading anything in permanently. So all this can still be corrected. There's very little pencil mark. It's not very dark. And I can still correct if I need to. So if you're watching this entire video, you'll see that I'm drawing in layers. And I'm not shading any particular part in all at once. Because once you put the pencil marks down, you should not rely on an eraser. So I fast forwarded through some of the shading. You just have to look at your reference image to find the different values. Even though this is a darker item and it is in color, you should still be able to look at the shadows, highlights, the midtones, the darkest values, and the lightest values. So once you determine the values, then you can start with layering your shading on, as I've said before. And the handle on this mug is round, so we're gonna treat it just like an object on its own. And I'm shading in the darkest part first, only outlining as I blend it in. So if you look at the handle, you see where it has the darkest value, same as the rest of the cup that has the really dark values. Again, only outlining as I'm blending in that value. And the highlighted parts can be left alone because you can either use an eraser and erase it later, or just leave it. I like to just leave it blank and add in the midtones because this is a colored object. And then I'm going back and adding more value into the mug itself because the value is not dark enough. And then I'm going to start on drawing the drop shadow. So I like to draw my shadows in the direction that it is facing. And so this shadow obviously is going away from the mug, so I like to shade it away from the mug. And I'm not starting off, again, even with the shadow and it's really dark, I'm not starting off with the darkest value. I'm building it up and slowly increasing the intensity of how dark that value is as I go.